Welcome back to the show. Now this time on the show we're going to go back to something we said we were going to do last season but never ended up doing. Never claimed to be the brightest bulb in the box. But this week on the show we're going to talk about force modifiers. Now a force modifier is when you have one person or two people acting as lots more people on the field. You know, it's just easier to show. Let's go. Okay, let me try to explain this concept a little bit further. Force modifier is a military term. It's something that the military uses to describe when you can have a small group of people act like a large group of people. It's when you have superior tactics, or you have superior positioning, or you have superior whatever, but it's like making, I don't know, like one person act like three people. It's just a matter of, you know, knowing what you're doing and making it all work. They're doing something, right? I know they're doing something. First we're going to talk about how a team can be a force modifier. Now when you're talking about a force modifier in a team, you might be talking how one person can act like five. That doesn't sound like much until you start adding more people. So if you have one person acting like five, you can have five people acting like 25. Doesn't sound like a lot until you look at 25 people being stopped by five guys. Now how you do this is, well, you work the triangle. You work with the angles, communication, and teamwork. You work together. You watch each other's blind spots. When one guy moves, the other guy supports it. When somebody sees something, you communicate it. These are all the basic skills, but it all adds up in the end. Now there's another force modifier, and that's the force of one. You know, a sneaky person out in the weeds like this has a lot of advantages. You can demoralize an entire group of people. You can make an entire group of people stop and try to figure out where you are. But it only works if you use your mind and you're sneaky.
Stand up so the crowd can see where you're at. Wave to the crowd. There he is.
There's another kind of force modifier we can talk about that's just a little bit different than a sneaky guy in the weeds type. Yeah, and that is the sharpshooter. Now the sharpshooter does not have to be hidden. In fact, a lot of times they're going to stand out in the open. But their entire goal is that they're going to shoot you if you expose anything. You put a hopper up, you put your little finger out, you put your little toe out, it's going to get shot. They know they can do it, you know they can do it. And you can stop a whole mess of guys if they're all afraid to expose anything.
Whoa!
That would almost make a good shot, wouldn't it? Another force modifier is raw firepower. It's not the one ball with your name on it, it's the other 300 behind it marked occupant. There's something about 15 balls a second that... Okay, it's wasteful, but there's something about it. Don't use it all the time, but if you got it, flaunt it. Kids these days, they gotta do everything with their big guns, sounds like.
Your gun stopped shooting.
I'm out of paint. One other force modifier I want to talk about before we end this show, and that is using a building or using terrain as your force modifier. Now, if you do it correctly, 4 people inside of a building can hold off 40 to 50 people. I mean, a castle, what, we had 200 and we held off 800 for how long? Yeah. It's kind of all dependent on a bunch of factors. I mean, like what the building is, what the objective is, what kind of people you got in the building, where you can position yourselves, and what kind of terrain you got around you, what the opponent's got to run through. You got to make all this stuff up on the fly. I can't tell you everything. It's an internet video show. You got to use your brain sometime. Can't do all the thinking for you. Good Lord, I hope not. One other thing, if you're going to be doing a force modifier thing, you got to know when to cut your losses, because you start to get overwhelmed and your force modifier rating goes negative, you're not going to do your team any good once you're shot. Kind of like I'm about to be. I'm out of here. See you later. My head come on?
Oh yeah. There's a strap on it for a reason, you know.
That goes behind your head, so you don't choke when the branches pull it off.